Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. I will get properly started once we have loaded into qualifying here in Brazil, but before that comes I will leave you to it, and then as soon as we get in I will get started straight away. Thank you.
Brazil has produced 3 world champions, all of which have won more than 1 world championship.
Right then, welcome along everybody to the ERS daily race here in Brazil. It is Saturday and we are out here with 17 drivers on the grid, 17 minutes of qualifying and a lovely sunny day ahead of us here in Sao Paulo. Then we have drivers coming out the pit lane already in early stages of qualifying. That's Mercedes that's come out now, as it's going to be a long time for me to get used to some of these names, I will be honest with you, but it's alright. We'll do our best to get used to them. I am here for tonight on Saturday, and hopefully if you guys like me I will stay and do Mondays for you. If you don't like me I will go and not come back, but if you do I will do them for you if need be. Ronaldo, Ronald B even, Ronaldo, what am I saying? Ronald B then out of the pit lane in that McLaren. The car that is the ahead at the moment is Mr. Alexander then out there in the Mercedes then. Coming to the end of Sector 2 then, it's Alexander on an out lap, and he'll be the first driver to put a time on the board this weekend for qualifying if he doesn't ruin that lap. But can he get it right? That is the main question as he now heads his way up the hill now. And then, leading on to the main straight, it will be Alexander to start their flying lap in the next few moments' time. As he crosses the line, and it's Alpha, disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. That is not good at all, and that is one driver out of this session already. That's his first sector for Alexander, but obviously not too hard, being the first man out there at the moment. Then follows behind the two McLarens. Ronald goes fastest in the first sector. His teammate Daniel just ahead has invalidated that lap, so we will stay with Ronald for now until the Mercedes gets towards the end of his lap. You know what? Alexander is not too far off then the main straight as he heads round the top bend here, then trundling up to the top with the slipstream from the Haas, and that is a beautiful slipstream. It'll be Alexander then who heads towards the line, and what will the time be for Mr. Alexander in the Mercedes? It'll be a 1 minute 8.5 for a first time on the board this weekend, and it's Ronaldo. I keep saying Ronaldo. Ronald towards the line. As he heads towards the white line then, and it'll be a 1 minute 10.3. Big difference between 1 and 2 there. His teammate crosses the line, obviously invalidating that lap, so not any time from him on the board at the moment. Anybody? Anyway, hello everybody in the stream chat. If anybody would like to say anything, ask me any questions. I would be more than happy to answer anything that you've got for me to answer. I can try my best, guys, as Ronald did go fastest in the first sector there, and he heads towards the end of sector 2. Will it be a good time? Mr. Duck then with a 1 minute 8.240, and that is a nice time then, who goes quicker than his teammate on provisional pole, well, previously on provisional pole. Arthur in P3, Tom P4, Ronald 5th, and it's Jamie in 6th. Suzuka in 7 at the moment, and somebody was about to cross the line. I think it'll be will it be Daniel? Look, Daniel's in the pit lane. It would have been a good lap, but ruined that one. Someone else just went up. It is IX, and down on the inside of the driver on the outside, and he gets through in the Haas. Bit of racing action we've got going on here in qualifying. We do love to see that. So, 12 minutes and 40 seconds left of qualifying here in ERS for Brazil. And we have 9 drivers who have put times on the board at the moment. Still got quite a few more to put times on the board. Tony is one of the latest to sneak a time up there in P9 at the moment. And here we see Menios towards the line, then up the hill, and he has the slipstream from the Haas ahead. I don't know if the Haas is going to put a time on the board or not, but the Haas has got the DRS wing wide open then as Menios down the straight. It's a 1 minute 10.8, and I'm not sure if the Haas improves or not. I should probably get the telemetry up. I'll do. IX out there on a lap at the moment. Will it be a good one for him though? That is the main question. 11 drivers now with times on the board. We've still got a few more to go, but not too many left then. With 11 minutes of qualifying left. Chris is out on an out lap. So is Daniel, trying again to get a quicker time. Well, to actually put a time on that board. Hopefully he can get that done soon. And what else can we look at now? Somebody else has just gone right up there, and it is the Alpine of Andoni. Andoni, I think. Andoni? I'll say Andoni. If I butcher some of your names, guys, I completely apologise. I do not mean to, but if I do butcher your name, I'm sorry. Like I said, questions in the stream chat. If anyone wants to give any opinions, see if they want me back here or anything along those lines, I'd be more than happy to hear it in the chat. Mr. Duck then, who was trying to go quicker than a 1 minute 8.2, which is the provisional pole time. He did invalidate on that lap. His teammate on the mediums is a second down on their previous lap at the moment. I'm not too surprised if they're on the mediums. Arthur on a lap as well, about to activate the DRS down the back straight. Fastest in the middle sector from Daniel then in the McLaren as he heads his way up the hill to the left, sticking his car to the left, then to the outside and then brings it back in to the inside of the track, then centers it down the straight, and it will be a 12 position for Mr. Daniel in the McLaren. Then we have a 4/10 improvement from Suzuka as they keep their car very far to the left and head down the main straight now to gain a 1/10 improvement, but do not move anywhere else on the timing sheets. Tony, though, is definitely one to look at the moment with a 7/10 improvement. He's quite far down the grid at the moment, but will it be a good improvement and a good time movement up there? We'll just have to see then as we continue to watch him. And Tony, it would have been a good time, but Tony pulls into the pit lane then and does not get a good time on that board. He will cross the line during the time in the pit lane and it will not be any quicker, obviously. We have ERS then, who is in 16th at the moment and on that outlap. The only driver yet to put a time on the board. I mean, the Red Bulls are not doing too great at the moment. Not a time on the board and one driver out due to a disqualification, so we'll have to see what happens between them in the race. But then the Mercedes heads up then in the on the mediums, I must say, and then not into the pit lane, carries on down the main straight and to cross the line, and it is 3/10 down, 3 seconds down even on their original time. Tom flying then to the line to start their fast lap. B, who is 10th at the moment, 1 minute 10.1. Can he get anywhere more on the grid? And he spins round. It's the commentator's curse from me, and Ronald goes round into the wall. Brings himself safely back on track, making sure he doesn't take anybody out in the process. Mr. Culver in the chat. Oi, oi, oi. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Menius, 1.6 seconds improvement and heads towards the line then. It'll be a improvement by 1.3 seconds. It's a 8th position for Mr. Menius at the moment. Not a bad time indeed. Now it's time for Tom to put a good time on the board. Culver, will you be with us tomorrow? Yes, I will be, mate. I've been ready for it all week. I'm very excited. Full grid as well, so it's going to be a brilliant race tomorrow. As ERS into the pit lane, Daniel comes out on their out lap. So does Tony, who has invalidated, but then heads up towards the main straight to start the flying lap. And will they improve on this lap and not ruin it? We'll have to just see them with 5 minutes of qualifying left here in Brazil. As Andonis heads towards the line. Will it be in the pit lane? No, it won't. Yes, it will be, actually. Goes into the pit lane from Andonis in the Alpine. And it is Tom who goes into the pit lane right behind him and comes out the Alfa Romeo then. Out of the pit lane, coming very slow out. But slowly but surely on their way out. ERS on a flying lap, but then he goes into the pit lane. Daniel, though, is one that seems to be on a decent lap at the moment with a 1/10 improvement. As Daniel then will make his way towards the line, and it'll be a improvement by 2/10 even, and it will still be P15, but it is an improvement. Suzuka is out of the session, I didn't mention that. As now 3 minutes and 30 seconds of qualifying left here in Brazil, and we have a few drivers coming out on their outlaps to get some times on the board. It's Jamie then who will be coming around to put a time on the board very, very soon. Can it be any quicker than a 1 minute 9.427? We'll just have to see them in the scarlet red Ferrari with the white highlights. We'll have to see what he can do as he makes his way up towards the main straight. It's Jamie. Can he go any quicker then as he gets the rear wing open on that Ferrari, and he invalidates at the very end. How unfortunate is that? 4/10. Now it would have been not quicker at all, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Tobiasen is down on their time at the moment, so will not be going any quicker. Ronald, 1.7 seconds down. He would definitely not be going any quicker. And IX, who has invalidated the previous lap. Daniel still as well with a 10 seconds down. That's 10 seconds down on his previous time. Not good at all for him at the moment. Mr. Duck and Alexander, the Mercedes, both coming out of the pit lane in synchronization. As one in front of the other, they come out as a pack. The Mercedes team on the way out of the pit lane and on towards the track with only a few minutes left of qualifying, with their aim to go any quicker and definitely secure that 1-2 front row lockout here in Brazil. And Daniel has retired from the session at the very end on the main straight, on near pretty much the main straight. It's Jamie with a 5-place grid penalty, and he will not want to see that then going into the race. So Jamie in 7th even, will now drop down 5 positions from that place and end up in P12. Which is not good for him at the moment, but something that it is good for someone is Tom then, who is in P5 at the moment and fastest in the middle sector. Tom in the Haas then towards the line, and it'll be a 2nd place then. Absolutely ruins the Mercedes party, and it will not be a Mercedes 1-2 lockout for now, but Alexander is out there on a flying lap, and can he go any quicker than Tom or maybe his teammate in steel provisional pole position for this weekend out in Brazil? Mr. Duck is also out on a lap and ahead of his teammate for now. Where can he place himself? Can he go any quicker, or will he stay in that provisional pole until somebody maybe takes it? That is the big question. Majdi is out, finished qualifying even. Chris crosses the line to finish in 6th. Someone's round, and it is the Ferrari of Tony. Ronald's done. IX is also done then, 13th and 14th. Menios, P9, not a bad effort from him in today's qualifying session. ERS finishes across the line to finish in P11. And Mr. Duck goes even quicker then by a very, very big margin. And Alexander goes across the line to retake that 2nd position and really confirm the Mercedes 1-2 at qualifying here in Brazil. What times from both of them, and it is 3/10 quicker from Alexander from Tom. That is a lovely, lovely time. Jamie will not improve. Tony is very much down, and that is the end of qualifying for you, ladies and gentlemen, here in Brazil. Next up, the main race. This qualifying should pretty much be ending soon. We have Jamie, who is in P8 for this qualifying and going into the race, and is about to finish in the pit lane. Then we can move on to the main race. Anyway, anybody in the stream chat, anything you want to say to me, and I can try and answer it like I've mentioned a few times over the stream today. And that is the end of qualifying for you here, ladies and gentlemen, for the race here in ERS. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the finishing results for the qualifying session here in Brazil. Mr. Duck and Alexander, the 2 Mercedes boys, complete a front row lockout this weekend, with Tom, the lone Haas, in the 2nd row and finishing off the top 3. It is Adonis P4, Arthur 5th, Chris 6th, Tobias 7th, Jamie 8th, Menius 9, and Majdi Boxu 10th. Not a bad qualifying session, I must admit, and the Mercedes front row lockout is going to be very, very exciting to see going into the main race. So, the main race, speaking of the devil, is up next. Cannot wait for it. Yeah, I'm number 15. What a guy. Number 15. You are... Which one are you in the race then? I'm not sure if you have a break or not, or you just go straight into the race, but we'll have to see what they do, because I do not know. I've not been around here for very long at all. As we're on the grid now then, it's 3, 4 and 5 lights here ahead of the Grand Prix here in Brazil. And it's lights out and away we go. Mr. Duck with a decent start but not too great then as his teammate tries to go down the inside. It's Alexander then who is in the lead of the Grand Prix. It's scrapping between the Mercedes then. His teammate trying to force back. Mr. Duck then drops down a position. It's Alexander who is ahead at the moment. There's a big scrap behind with Adonis and Tom, but it's still the Mercedes boys at the front that are battling it out. The Alpine is trying to get a bit of a piece on that. Then he goes off the wide. So does the Haas behind. The AlphaTauri on the inside is trying to get through and gets past the Alpine at the moment. Then there's a Haas behind there and the Alfa Romeo even, that goes down the inside and claims the position there. It's Alexander then who comes out ahead of the race on lap 1 out of 36. Mr. Duck second, Arthur third, Adonis fourth, Tom fifth. Then comes the Bayernson. Seventh is Chris, Menios is eighth, Majdi Box 9 and Tony comes home in P10 for now. We have the Chris then who's trying to go around the outside. Will Chris make the move work even? He's on the back end of him then. He's got the slipstream as they go down the main straight. Chris pulls out to the outside, then he goes down to the inside to try and get the slipstream. It's Chris on the outside of the corner. Can Chris make it work? Then he dives down the inside, Chris around the outside. Somebody goes off in the background. That was Menios that went off. In the background, it's side by side with Tony and IX. IX is through for now, but Tony will try and get back through. Maybe in the next few corners. He's holding on very close to him. Holding on as tight as he can. Will he let go? I don't think he will. As we move back up to the front. And we still have a close battle for first position at the moment. The two Mercedes boys scrapping away at the front of this race. It's Mr. Ducks from Alexander, then from Arthur, all scrapping away. Moving down the grid then, we have somebody who's just gone off. It is Ronald. The two McLarens at the back are not doing too great at all. And so is ERS as well. ERS not doing too good at all. Daniel, though, is trying to get his way back up there. He is quite far behind Mr. Ducks with a fastest lap at the moment. And we have a big, long train of cars standing there as DRS gets enabled by the FIA. And race control. Menios a bit deep in that corner. Enables him to get through for now. Car ahead is Tony. He's going to try and get past IX, but too far back for now as well. But this is the battle we want to see then. Between the two Mercedes, it's Mr. Duck and Alexander. Alpha has retired from the session apparently, and Alexander is getting very, very close behind Mr. Duck here. But then drops back a little bit. The gap between them two is 4/10 of a second for now. Will Alexander be able to get through then? He's getting closer. Down the main straight we go. And Arthur is really picking up on these pieces as well. He's going to try and capitalise on this battle ahead of him. And he is getting closer. Each lap that goes by, Arthur is getting very, very close. Which is also bringing Adonis into this as well. Alexander then is absolutely pushing his teammate through these corners. Who will come out ahead then? The two Mercedes boys with Ineos on the back of their cars. Shining bright red. And it's Mr. Duck who leads this battle from Alexander. Alexander with the slipstream behind, maybe on the main straight he can get through, or even heading up to the main straight. Tobias with a 3-second time penalty, and the first one of this weekend as well. We have lap 4 out of 36, and what battles we are seeing so far here in ERS Daily Race. Now, this is where Alexander really needs to get the better exit out of the corner, and I'm not sure he did then as the car ahead pulls away beautifully for now, heading down the main straight. It's Alexander who's going to try and get closer. He's going to try his very, very best. But his best is not enough for now. As Arthur is going to try down the inside. Arthur to the outside. The car ahead, nearly makes contact with his teammate. Arthur loses the position. He thought it was there, and it went straight out of sight straight away. Then Alexander is going to try back on his teammate. If anything, the move with Arthur actually helped him out then. As three of them go through that corner together. It's still Mr. Duck from Alexander, from Arthur, then from Adonis. And it's going quite well at the moment with these two scrapping away at the front. This battle's going on behind as well. Here's a battle going on. Tony and IX, and I told you, Tony would not be giving this one away then. The switchback of dreams from Tony as he tries around the outside now of the corner. Will Tony make it work? He goes very, very wide there. It's not enough then to get past the Haas for now. As now, Tony heads up towards the main straight then, and he's going to try and go around the outside. Will Tony make it work? Tony's on the inside then. He's trying his best to get through. It's side by side. We're going to drag race down the main straight then, as Tony gets past IX for now, but can he stay in that position? And yes, he can. Tony is through past IX. As we head back onto the battle ahead then with the two Mercedes and Arthur. It was getting close down the straight. Oh, Tony and IX back again, battling side by side. The car in the background has joined in now to have a bit of fun with this as well. It's IX ahead, but Tony's trying his best to get through. Tony's through, then they're making contact, pushing each other through the corners. It's Tony ahead, Tony behind at the moment, with IX leading. Tony goes across and gets a time penalty for cutting the corner there, and very well deserved in my opinion, cutting that corner. And after all of this is going on, Menios is doing a superb job to try and close up the gap between these two. If you look on the track map, the gap between Mr. Duck and Alexander is now 6/10. But Arthur is going to try and get through. Alexander's going to try and retake the position. It's side by side through turns 1 and 2. Who will take it then this time? Arthur's got the better edge on him. If they don't take it to the out, Arthur's through, and they have done it. Arthur is through past Alexander and spoils the Mercedes party on lap 7 out of 36. But how long will that stay like that for? As the battle ahead still continues on. And I'm going to get very tired of saying these guys' names because it's the same thing all the time. And then Arthur makes a mistake. And Alexander takes that opportunity by the scruff of the neck and gets right through back to P2 where he belongs, or where he thinks he belongs for this race then. Tony and IX still having the battle up ahead, and Menios is getting closer. Each lap we go by the pit wall. Menios and Tony are having a battle now. Tony's dropped down. Menios decided to make the move and get through past Tony at the moment. Then he's going to try and get back past through IX, and Menios decides to send it down the inside. Doesn't work out for him at the minute. Adonis with a 3-second time penalty on lap 8 out of 36. Oh, Tony goes off a little bit there on the corner, but manages to keep it on the track. Here's Menios then, as we go aboard with him. He tries to go down the outside of IX. Doesn't make it work for now, but he's still on the back end of him then. The two medium combat tyres. Oh, and Menios nearly tries to get around the outside. Then he goes down the inside. It's Menios then, who's trying to get past the Haas. The Haas has got the better edge on him, but then Menios is coming back then with the straight line speed Down the straight we go. The Haas goes off wide, and Menios in the Alfa Romeo is through. That is what we love to see. That is the kind of racing we want to see out here in ERS. And we are on lap 9 out of 36. And we see Mr. Duck, who is establishing a nice little lead ahead with 3.2 seconds. And a safety car has been deployed. And my little thing that we normally do is, if we're under safety car, if you've got any questions for me, I will be happy to take any that you would like me to answer. Obviously, me being new here, I'd quite like to get to know as many of you as I can. So engagement in the stream chat would be much appreciated while we're under safety car. Lots of drivers in the pit lanes now. We have Daniel, we have IX, Jammy, Suzuka, Menyos, and a few more that have come out of the pit lane since then. And we are on lap 10 out of 36, 26 laps remaining here for the race here. In Brazil. And starting off then, when we get racing again, will be Mr. Duck leading from Alexander, then from Adonis, and then from Arthur when we get going once again, when the safety car decides to pull into the pit lane. Tony is out of the session, and that is probably why we got the safety car, as Mr. Duck goes into the pit lane and gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in there as well. And that is going to be really bad for him. Really bad indeed. Goes into the pit lane. Will not be serving that penalty, as he just got it going into the pit lane. And he puts fresh new tyres on. I think it's the mediums, if I'm correct. Yes, it is mediums on that Mercedes car. If anyone's actually in the chat that knows, could someone tell me how many races you guys do each week, just so I know? Thank you very much. We have 15 drivers joining us still, out of 17 then. ERS with a 5-second time penalty for ignoring the yellow flags. That is not too good at all. We have a few time penalties across the grid at the moment, but not too many to spoil it. But obviously, after Alexander going in, it's Mr. Duck, then from Adonis, and then from Arthur, starting this race again. There will not be a safety car in at the end of this lap, but it should be at the end of the next one. More drivers going into the pit lane then. That will be, it is Majdi Boxing, as Ronald gets a 5-second time penalty as well for ignoring yellow flags. We've had a few of them penalties today. And I will also say, next time I do commentate on here, I will be streaming off of your Twitch, not of mine. But I was very late getting on today, and that's why I've done it through mine. Nearly contact made at the back there, as we just found out the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap right here. 15 drivers, all raring to go, eager to get racing again here in the Brazilian circuit. Sao Paulo is the name, as we are about to get racing again. The drivers slowly shuttling round. It's really slow then, as Mr. Duck paces all of the cars, and will he go anytime soon? And there we go, Mr. Duck with the superb start then down the main straight, and that was a beautiful jump. The car behind had absolutely no idea what was going on, and now Arthur drives down the inside even of Adonis. Will Arthur get through back to where he was earlier? And Arthur gets right through the double A's, back through now. Jamie Suzuka having a little battle there. Jamie's through. Then we've got another move going on here then, as Alexander is trying to make the moves back up then to get right back up there, back to where he belongs on the track at the moment. Jamie Menios having a battle then. Nearly make contact. They do make contact. Bit of wheel banging there. Menios has got the disadvantage on the tyres, but he still seems to be doing better than the car behind at the moment. He's trying to squeeze his way through, but Menios is doing well to keep this Alfa Romeo 7 and 8 alive. But will the car try down the outside? No, it will not. And they all stay in the same order for now. It's Mr. Duck who still leads with a 2/10 advantage from Arthur. Then comes Tom then. Sorry, no, never mind. Arthur tries to go down the inside, and Arthur takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Where did that come from then? Arthur takes the lead, then from Mr. Duck, then from Tom, and then from Chris, who's been followed by Alexander, who is trying to charge through the field and make his way back up to his teammate and trying to pass him as well. Two drivers very far back now. It's Adonis and Ronald, both of them who seem to be doing decently well after the safety car restart, are now back down at the end. Daniel with a 3-second time penalty, so does IX as well, and we are getting many time penalties now, I will admit. Moves going on all around then, as that is a lovely angle that is, as they all fly around that corner. And ahead now, we've got three cars ahead. So we've got the battle for second position at the moment then. Alexander is trying to chase down Chris. And from here, we should be able to see two moves if they both make them work. Alexander's going to try to the outside. DRS is now enabled. And will the Haas go down the inside? It's three wide with these three down here then. Into turn one. The Haas is ahead at the moment. Then goes the Aston Martin. And then goes the Mercedes through. Will he get back through? And I think he does. The Mercedes. The Mercedes actually on the back end still of Chris, and Chris is on the back end of Tom. The gap between first and second now is 1.3 seconds. Oh, Mercedes very, very close to the car ahead there. Could have made contact with him, but did not, and manages to avoid it. Side by side then from Alexander and Chris. And Alexander, who is trying to get his way back up the order, is right back up to P3 for now. Mr. Duck is right down in P30, and that is a big contrast between him and his teammate, especially given that they were both at the top earlier on today. So Alexander in third, and we have position changes at the bottom. Side by side between the two guys at the back, and Adonis is ahead at the moment. Ronald's just going to try and come back down the main straight. But it is Adonis' line then, as Mr. Duck goes into the pit lane to get a new wing change as well. And it's Jammy with a 3-second time penalty then. At the moment, we have quite a lot of time penalties. I did say it was bad, and it is continuing to get worse. As we're on lap 16 out of 36 and 20 laps to go in this race here in Brazil. It's Arthur who leads, and that is a big change up then in comparison to when we first started the race, and it was Alexander and Mr. Duck, both 1 and 2. That has definitely changed up now with Arthur ahead. Someone at the back, a bit iffy on the exit. It was one of the Red Bulls of ERS. But Arthur ahead, establishing not a bad lead then of 1.2 seconds for now. Tom tries to follow behind, tries to keep on board with him. Alexander then follows behind that, and Adonis goes quickest of all laps. Where's that come out of? Menios and Suzuka side by side. Menios is through Suzuka then. It's got to think about Majdi coming down the inside. Will he get through? Majdi making contact with him. He's going to try down the inside. Nearly clips his back tyre out, makes him spin around, but decides to take the serious option and does not do that at all. Daniel has now got Majdi ahead of him. Can he maybe catch up with him? That is the big question. Seen a move change at the back here. Where was that come from? I do not know. This is where it's going on. As we have the battle for first place now. I didn't even know this was going on. Everybody's caught up then, as it's Arthur ahead, then it's Tom, and then it's Alexander who will try and get through. Alexander trying to claim that position where he thinks he belongs. A bit iffy on the exit there, but not too bad at all then as he tries to get past the Haas. The Haas is having none of it, putting away. He is now trying to get past Arthur. Arthur's doing well to keep ahead at the moment, but they're down the inside. He's vulnerable in this position. Very, very vulnerable. Will he stay where he is, or will he get overtaken? Mr. Duck with the quickest time of the weekend at the moment. That came out of absolutely nowhere. Will the car here then get overtaken by 2 at once? He's definitely got overtaken by Alexander. Never mind, just jinxed that one because he didn't anymore. Alexander back down to P3, Tom P2, and Arthur. We restore positions as we go back round to do it all again then on the main straight. It's Arthur that leads from Tom, then from Alexander. They've all got the DRS then as Alexander heads towards Tom. Down the main straight, he's dropping back, but Tom's getting closer. Swapping positions maybe then. Do we see a swap? No, we do not then. He does not get past anymore. Move going on here then. To the inside goes Majdi. Majdi gets through. Ronald with a 3-second time penalty on that one there. And Mr. Duck goes even quicker. Another lap around. Not too bad for Mr. Duck at the moment. His teammate is somebody else who is also not doing too bad at all then. He is second position at the moment and trying to get past Arthur now. And I think going down the main straight is probably something achievable for Mr. Alexander in the Mercedes car then as he heads down the main straight. It's Alexander towards the line. Gets the DRS, but just too far back to get any closer to Arthur. He does get closer, but no move comes to light at the moment. We've got to move behind as Menios goes through past Tobiasen. Also moves going on at the back then as ERS goes round and is very slow at the back. Side by side then, I didn't even see this. It's Menios who is in the middle. Menios who is part of the sandwich formed around Majdi at the moment. It is the Alfa Romeo sandwich around the Alpha Tauri, the battle of the Alphas then. All three of them, the car behind Tobiasen, nearly had a bit of a moment, nearly went into the barrier. Nearly said hello to the barrier there, but did not go into the barrier and saved it very, very well indeed. Battle for first place still continues on then. As Alexander heads towards the main straight. Will he get any closer? Menios has a moment and drops down. His teammate managed to get past him. But first of all, Majesty gets past him as well. Alexander then, is this the time where he can steal the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix here in Sao Paulo then? Alexander is absolutely pushing Arthur to the limits then, to the very, very edges, the fine lines of this racing track. Arthur's blinking, and Alexander sends it down the inside. It's level pegging then through these corners, the very off-camber part of the track. They've got to be very careful here not to put it in the wall, but Alexander has shown his real, true racing driver qualities there as he gets through and takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. What a drive for now from Alexander. And now it is his time to try and establish a good lead between him and Arthur. Arthur's gaining. Will he even get a point to establish that lead? Then Arthur's getting around the outside. Level pegging round turn one. And Alexander is ahead for now. And Alexander stays ahead for now. And will he stay ahead for this whole lap? I'm not sure, but it's side by side with these two as well. Jamie and Majdi side by side. Majdi's gone round. Majdi's sideways in the middle of the track. And he is down to P8, dropping down to P10. Falling down the order now, and that is so, so sad for him. Daniel gets through to P10. Oh, and swapping positions here then. It's Adonis and IX. Adonis on the inside, and Majdi's retired, and it will not be a safety car, I don't think. No, it won't. It's a 3-second time penalty for Daniel, though. As, like I said, Alexander's going to try and establish a lead. And he has established a lead of 8/10 at the moment. It was 9, but the gap is coming down because of DRS. That the car behind, which is Arthur, will get on the main straight, which will not help the car ahead at all. Swapping positions again, and it's Jamie ahead of Tobiasen at the moment. Chris leading a bit of a lonely race then down in P4 at the moment, but he's doing all right. It's going to be good points for him at the moment. Position changes at the back where the points are not going to be too good. As Ronald goes into the pit lane, ERS is out, but not doing too well at the moment. Very far back compared to his peers. Chris then gets a time penalty on top of that as well. As we only have 13 laps of this Grand Prix remaining, and it has gone absolutely I can't even get the words out. Absolutely rapid then. It was very, very quick race then. As we are nearly on lap 25, and we are way over half race distance out here in Sao Paulo. We have 14 drivers left on the grid. And Jamie and Tobiasen both decide to go into the pit lane. It's a 5-second time penalty for speeding by Jamie. Alexander with a 3-second as well, but it won't really change much because of the amount of people that have them. It will change though the position that he ends in if Arthur and Tom do not get a position and stay within this gap. Menios and Adonis are back again, trying to get a battle out of this race. Will Adonis get any closer to Menios? At the moment he's close, and he looks for the move down the outside. Menios gets a time penalty in the process, and then Adonis tries to pick up other pieces maybe. Will he goes to the outside, then he tries to the inside. And will he just stick behind him now for the DRS and the slipstream? I think that's a fair point if he can do this then. As he heads towards the main straight, it's Alexander with a 5-second time penalty now for speeding in the pit lane. He decides to pit, which means Tom and Arthur inherit first and second. Chris with a 5-second time penalty now. As Adonis then tries to get past Menios going down the main straight. Adonis flies through like it's absolutely nothing. And he moves up to P3 as everyone's in the pit lane at the moment. Alexander, Chris, IX, Daniel, all go into the pit lane at the moment. Daniel with a 5-second penalty. Everybody's getting caught for speeding in the pit lane. Not good at all, that. So Tom, who was just leading, then goes into the pit lane. Arthur inherits the lead of the Grand Prix. Tom gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding as well. And I'll be honest, boys, this is not good, boys. Honestly, speeding in the pit lane, nearly everybody's got that. Nearly everybody's got it now. Not too good at all, but Arthur does not pit as he's on the hards and can continue on to the final 10 laps of this race. Will he be able to make it to the end? That is the big question. Everybody else has pitted. They're all going to try and come through on fresh mediums and stuff. And he's one of the only ones on the old hards. If I do end up coming back here, boys, if you do enjoy this, I do normally commentate with a Canadian guy. We've got the British and Canadian mix going on. It's a good mix for commentary, and you would absolutely love that if he was here. But sadly, he cannot make it today. But if I do end up commentating here, I can guarantee he will be back. And if you did want to see us commentating, you can come back to this channel tomorrow night, as we will be doing the ZRL World Championship race. That'll be fun, so you should come along and watch that. Alexander with the fastest lap at the moment by the Mercedes car. Not too bad at the moment, but can he get back up then? Past the positions, and Menios into the wall. Will that be a safety car? Yes, it will be, to neutralise the pack. And Menios, who has had a brilliant race, ruins it on the first few turns. That is a massive shame. Will we see any people coming in for a free pit stop? If I was them, I would definitely do that then on the closing stages of the Grand Prix. Only a few laps remaining now, I'll be honest with you, not too many to go. 9 laps to be exact, and people are actually coming in for the free pit stops. They're going to come in for the softs. Whoever that car was that I've just seen coming into the pit lane. And the Mercedes comes in. Adonis comes in. Does everybody else follow behind in the footsteps? Yep. There goes the softs on the Alpine. And everybody slows down for the safety car. Tom gets a 5-second time penalty for ignoring a yellow flag. Ferrari comes out the pit box. And now on to the main, racing back on the track. As we are now still under safety car conditions, we'll probably be under this for about 2 more laps time. And once that has gone in, we should have just around 6 laps of racing action still to go here in Brazil. Jamie, for some reason, has left the session, but hopefully he gets back in soon because we will be starting again soon. So, after a very strong start from the Mercedes, which ended up falling down the grid, now we have Tom in the Haas, Tom 1998, who is leading the Grand Prix and will lead them off at the start of the safety car restart. It'll be Arthur from behind and then Alexander in P3. Chris comes behind that, Adonis 5th, Mr. Duck 6th. Can he get his way back up there in that fast Mercedes car? IX 7th in the Haas. His teammate obviously will be leading the race off. Can he maybe get back up there? Tobiasen 8th, Suzuka 9th, then comes Ronald in 10th. Jamie 11th, and ERS, who has not had a great race at all, will be at the back starting the race once again, actually, because we've had 2 safety cars during this race at the moment. No, I'm out. No, I was watching this and I put it in the wall under safety car. Oh, mate. That is so unfortunate, mate, honestly. Poor you. Well, there's always next race, mate. It's alright. At least you died watching a decent stream. Listen to this and listen to your engine, it's very hard. Yeah, I know. I mean, when I used to do league racing, mate, I used to leave the stream on, but I never really used to have the sound up very much because I can't really concentrate at the same time. But it wasn't really something that bothered me, to be fair. I could still hear the car and that. But very nice job, mate. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. On lap 30 out of 36. And we have 6 laps to go for the Grand Prix here in Brazil for ERS. And when we get racing again, hopefully we get some very nice battles displaying. We did have some good battles at the start. He kind of died down towards the middle. And can we get that back alive then for the closing stages of the Grand Prix? That is the big question, and I'm sure we can do then with Alexander, who is behind Tom and absolutely raring to get back through, back up to P1. As I was right, safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, and Mr. Duck as well, his teammate's raring. Mr. Duck is going to be even more hungry to get back up there to where he belongs, and I'm sure he can do it then as we head round onto the main straight soon. And when will they make the jump? Tom goes now, and the car's behind with not a bad reaction at all, I'll be honest with you. But Tom gets a good exit then as Chris is trying to get around the outside of Alexander. Chris is putting the pressure on the Mercedes that seem to be untouchable this race. Then Chris makes a mistake, which means that Adonis can try and come through around the outside, but Adonis gets through in the blue car. Just have to see, and Adonis is through. Now Mr. Duck, like I said, he was very, very hungry for it. And Mr. Duck is even more hungry now as he goes down the inside, pushing Chris off the track, getting him a time penalty. That is a bit unfair in my opinion. But Mr. Duck, Brexit means Brexit, and he's through there. He's behind the Alpine now, and Mr. Duck is on an absolute charge, trying to get through the pack. 5 laps to go of today's race, and he is trying his best to get through the pack. Adonis is in front of him, then Tom, then his teammate, who has managed to get up to P1. As next, we have coming up the main straight, and can Mr. Duck get through on the main straight? Can he even get 2 positions up? Maybe we'll have to see. Somebody's round at the end. It is Ronald off the track. Arthur and Suzuka making position changes. Arthur's through for now. Oh, the Mercedes of Alexander spins round then at the top, and with only a few laps to go, he has absolutely bottled this race then, as Adonis now takes the lead of the Grand Prix here in Sao Paulo, and that was not expected one bit then. Adonis leads from Tom, from the hungry Mr. Duck, then from Chris, and then from IX, with Tobiasson behind him trying to get through. What crazy racing we've seen now is the DRS is now available, and Tom is trying his best to get past Adonis. He's not far off at all, and we have a battle for first position here, with these 3 drivers trying to get through. Mr. Duck is so hungry for this then, behind, and he gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Speaking of penalties, we're going to open that up now and see what we've got. Tom with a 10, Chris with an 11. These are not looking good for these drivers at all. I have no idea where anyone's going to finish after these penalties are added on. As we only have 3 laps of the race remaining, and how quick has that gone then, as Ronald gets back through Jamie, and Arthur and IX having a battle. They take each other out. Arthur has to back out on that one, and it's IX that stays ahead for now. Ronald with a 3-second time penalty, not anymore. We've got enough. As now the cars trouble down to the main straight. Tom ahead is going to try and get past Adonis. Tom's going to go down the inside. Will he make the move work? It's side by side with the Alpine and the Haas. The Alpine goes a little bit deep there. Not a bad exit from him though. The Haas has also got a good exit then, as they now go side by side. It's the softs against the medium compound tyres. The Mercedes threads the needle down the inside. Will the Mercedes get past through both of them? That is the big question. I thought he was going to do it then. That would have been a beautiful move from Mr. Duck, who very nearly got back through both of them to regain the lead of the Grand Prix and finish where he started. Can Mr. Duck do it then with 2 laps remaining? It would have been his teammate normally, but his teammate absolutely bottled it towards the end of the Grand Prix. And Mr. Duck then on the backside of Tom. He's seeming to get even closer at the moment. Can he get past him though? As they now shuttle up towards the top. Mr. Duck with a bit of a moment on the exit. Still got the slipstream from the Haas as they now head down the main straight and the overspeed. Then he's got Mr. Duck. This is where he gets past him. Round the outside from the Mercedes. And Mr. Duck gets through past the Haas car then. Into turn 1 they go, lap 35 out of 36, and we're on the penultimate lap of the race here in Brazil as Mr. Duck regains the lead. My TV just fell over while we're commentating. We do love to see that. As we still have this battle going on here, Alexander is going to try and get back through past Suzuka. Will he get through then? He's just trying to get past. He's got past Suzuka now. Top of the 3-second time penalty, now 13 for him. And it's racking up as Alexander, his teammate, is leading. And Alexander is going to try and get past IX now. Around the outside he goes. The Mercedes and the Haas having the battle of their life. The Mercedes threading the needle down the inside, and he makes the move work. This time around then is that the drivers make their way up to the top and over on the main straight to start the final lap of today's race here in Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Mr. Duck, what's a drive from him at the moment, and hopefully he can hold on to this. Tom, even if he did get past him, it wouldn't even matter anymore. It would not matter one bit because of time penalties. The drivers with no time penalties, ERS and Arthur, and props to you two for not getting any at all. As we now have these two, Tobian and Chris. Tobian down the inside, and Tobian gets back through past Chris this time. The battle ahead is still ongoing, and that is Mr. Duck is 1 second ahead. Can Tom break through the DRS barrier as we nearly are heading up to the final stages of this Grand Prix? Mr. Duck to the end of Sector 2 then, and heading round here now to make his way on the upward trajectory then towards the top and towards the main straight then. Mr. Duck churches his way down the main straight. It's Mr. Duck's time then to cross the line and finish the race in first position then here in Sao Paulo. Mr. Duck takes the win this weekend from Adonis, and then from Tom. Arthur with no penalties comes through and takes second position. Adonis third, Tom fourth, Tobiason's fifth. Chris drops down to seventh, Suzuka sixth. Alexander, after having such a good qualifying, ends even in eighth. IX in ninth, Ronald 10th. When he crosses the line, it'll be Jammy in 11th, and ERS to finish in P12. As ERS heads his way towards the line now to finish the race, and it'll be the end of the Grand Prix. And what a race that was. Thank you very much, everybody, for letting me commentate. Great racing, great racing commentating. Thank you very much, mate, for that. And if you want me back, I will be back once again. But I do my best. As we now have the podium celebrations then. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, finishing results then for the race out here in Sao Paulo. The Sao Paulo Grand Prix then, as it is Mr. Duck, who has a brilliant qualifying and then finishes with a brilliant race at the end of it. He comes out with a Grand Prix trophy and a Grand Prix win. Mr. Duck finishes on the top step of the podium today. It's Arthur second, and Adonis finish off the top three this weekend. It's Tom fourth, Tobiason fifth, Suzuka 6th, Chris 7th, Alexander 8th, IX 9th, and Ronald finishes the top 10. Going down the rest of them, it's ARS 11th, Jammy 12th, and the rest of them all DNF from the session. So thank you for joining me this weekend. And if you guys want to see me back, I will be back. If you don't, I will go. So thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you next race. Have a good one, guys.